Hi, my name's Arthur Murray. I'm the site manager for Corbel Conservation on the roofing project. So I did a degree in architecture and then decided I didn't want to be an architect. I like doing the work too much. Then I started working for another conservation company, doing general labouring really. That's how I started the work. Then started doing lots of stone conservation work, trained as a stonemason, and then the rest is history really. Started supervising and became a site manager eventually. So yeah, I'm no longer a stonemason professionally, so I run the sites now, but still do carving and things in my spare time, and still really enjoy the stonemasonry. Have to try and drag myself away when the masons are working. So this is one of the most recent projects I've ever worked on. So generally I'm usually working on, and our company is in general working on much older buildings. So I'm very interested in medieval architecture, and I just worked on a tithe barn just outside Bristol, which had enormous sort of metre thick walls and things like that. And I just love trying to work out how ancient masonry went together and the kind of techniques they might have used, sort of peeling things back as we take things apart, and trying to work out how the process was done, how they built things before we had mechanical aids and modern techniques. So with a project like this building's quite interesting because some of the details are quite poor really. I think we were aware before we started the project that there are some big structural problems obviously, and the main issue is it's a very big sort of open box with not many walls tying it laterally together, and you've got a big heavy roof pushing out on the walls, and they're very thin masonry. So that's all been quite interesting to sort of see how the steelwork ties into the masonry piers, and then how the loads are sort of transferring from the roof into the walls and how things are moving. And that's really evident on the trusses, where we've been putting new strengthening steelwork into the trusses. You can see where the trusses have tilted as the ground has moved and as the building has settled, and forces have kind of worked sideways and down and moved all the trusses basically. So that's been really interesting to sort of pull apart and have a look at as we've been repairing things. We found a few really interesting items while we were clearing the guano out of the roof space. Lots of lovely old light bulbs and the boxes that they came in, really nice old packaging. Another thing we found in the roof space was the original tin ceiling roses, and speaking to Oliver the architect, we think they were probably used as a ventilation system earlier in the building when people were smoking indoors, and it would get very smoky and smelly after a load of people in there. So there's a winch system up in the roof space, and these ceiling roses would be incorporated in the design of the ceiling, and then they'd be lowered down after a showing, and then there were vents up in the roof, and there were archways up in either gable, and it would allow the wind to basically move the air through the space and ventilate the space. So we think that's what those ceiling roses were doing. And then we also found a love letter, which was addressed to someone. We don't know whether they were working on the building or whether it had just been left here for someone to find. But a love letter written on Parsons letterheaded paper. So that was very interesting.